Welcome back to the garage, everybody. So the summer months are coming and it's time to get our weed eaters and pressure washers running. So today I'm going to be doing a double feature where I get a weed eater running for my friend, and also we're going to get his pressure washer going. Let's go. Howdy y'all, and welcome to my shop. Join my family and me as we build projects and go on adventures. My name is Waylon, and this is Muddy Turtle Motors. Hold up. Turbo says don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment, share this video, ring the bell, and hit that like button. Now back to the video. Howdy y'all. Today we're going to be working on this 163cc Craftsman pressure washer. It's almost a new machine, but the owner had used it once and then left fuel in it. So it's got a little bit of a carburetor issue. We're going to take it off today, clean it up, and get it running. Let's go. Okay. So first thing we're going to do to get to the carburetor is pull off this cover. Set it to the side and use it to hold parts. There's the air cleaner. It just pulls straight off. And then, as you can see here, there's 2 screws holding this on. We have to be very careful so that we don't strip these out, because all of this is plastic and it strips very easy. Okay, to get to the carburetor, we're going to pull off these 2 bolts using a 7mm socket. This is an 8mm socket. Make sure you're careful to keep up with your hardware as you're pulling things apart. It's a good idea, if you don't have one already, to use one of these magnetic bowls for your screws. Already. Very handy. So before pulling your carburetor, you need to get all the fuel out of your tank if you can. If you don't have an easy way to do that, another option you have is just pinching off the fuel line and draining the little bit that's in the bowl. I'm going to be doing that today using these vice grips. I like to use the needle nose vice grips, and then I'll wrap them with electrical tape to keep them from cutting the line. When you're doing this, you want to be careful to pinch the line just enough to keep fuel from flowing and not enough to cut it. Before you disconnect your fuel line, it's a good idea to get you a bowl of some type that you can set underneath your project, catching dripping fuel. There we go. Okay, so we pinched this clamp, slid it back so we can now pull the fuel line off the nozzle, the nipple. To remove the carburetor from this pressure washer, all you have to do, now that we've removed the screws that retain it, is to slowly wiggle it and pull it straight out. Be careful that you don't break anything, because you still have springs and other rods attached to the top of the carburetor. We'll remove in a moment. We'll wiggle our fuel line off here. We have our bowl in the right spot. Now, to remove the carburetor from these 2 rods, there we go, and there we go, got our carburetor off. We'll set that to the side for right now. So these are the connecting rods that I was talking about. The linkage here. It has a little hook, so when the carburetor's on here, this little guy right there, can you see that? Yeah. It connects in right here to control this arm. Does that. And then this little guy way back in here. Oops. Come on, man. It's connected to this one. Off the camera, you can see it. So this is the engine side of the carburetor, and these control the engine as it runs. Okay, so now we have our carburetor. Now a little more fuel. Okay. This is going to be a 10mm Allen T-handle. And the bottom of the carburetor right here, the bottom of the bowl, is where the drain is. So you can drain it a lot faster. The bottom of the bowl is held on with 2 7mm nuts, screws. Be careful not to tear our O-rings. Use a screwdriver. We'll pry this apart gently. There it goes. Okay. The bowl doesn't look bad at all. I can smell it for sure though. That has some bad gas. The float's looking pretty good. So here's the float here as it goes up and down. This slides into here. And that's what controls your fuel level inside the bowl. As the fuel level runs out, the float drops, which drops the plunger, allows fuel to flow into the bowl. Bowl fills full of fluid, or fuel. Float goes up, and that plugs the hole for this rubber needle. And I'm not seeing a very dirty carburetor here. We're looking okay. In a moment, we'll blow carburetor cleaner through here. The fuel comes in through here and straight through here. And that's the part we just removed. The next piece, we want to be very careful with the pliers and pull out the jet. Wait. A little bit of a mess. Not looking too bad. I don't see a lot of crud in there. But it don't take much to plug a jet. So something I like to do whenever I'm cleaning a carburetor is I'll take one of my shop brushes, steel brush, brass. Brass is probably better, but I'll be using a steel one. I'll pull out one bristle from the wire brush. Anyways, as you can tell, very fine. And so I'll use that and I will floss out each of the little holes in our jets. Next, we'll take some carbon choke cleaner and blow all the jets out now that we've flossed them all out. Okay, now for reassembly. So if you look at the side with the red gasket, the fuel line, the nozzle's facing to my right. If you look at the bowl side of it, to the left, the outside of the carburetor, opposite the fuel line, you'll see a ring. If you can see it, not really well, right in here. And that is where the O-ring side of this jet sits. We'll just slide it back in there. Presses down. Careful not to damage our spring. Now we got to put our float back in. Remember, before you put the float back, that you have this little guy sitting in this panel right here. Boom. Okay. With this carburetor, you want that rubber tip to go in this hole here. Okay. Set it down on top. Got it. The back side, these pins here that it pivots on, it snaps down. And you know you did it right if you turn the carburetor back up, normal side up, should flop nice and easy. We still have that needle jet retained in there. So, looks like it's functioning correctly. Well, looks good. Check out your O-ring while you're in here. Don't see any cuts, tears, or anything. Looks good. And it just slides in. Line up your screw holes here. Press that back into place. Make sure you're putting the correct screws back. We've removed 3 different size screws and they each have their own place. Always do this by hand because you'll strip this plastic carburetor out real easy. After you get it started, at least you can use a ratchet, but no ooga doogas on this one. This one is German torque spec. Good and tight. That's it. There we go. All right. The fuel drain plug just pokes in there. This does like a quarter turn. That's it. It's not even a quarter turn, really. Okay. Carburetor's been cleaned, put back together. Everything looks good on it. Let's put it back together and test it. The two rods are different sizes, so you really can't do this wrong. The little one goes in the little hole, the big one goes in the big hole. Not too bad. Okay. Now that we got our two connecting rods back on the back side of the carburetor is the intake to the engine. We're going to slide the carburetor back onto that. Go by feel. If you're forcing it, you're probably doing something wrong. You shouldn't have to force it. Okay. Let's put our fuel line back on. Let's just slide that on. And it did. Fuel line is clamped back in place. Things looking good. We need to grab our cover. Note it has these two dimples here to help orient it right here in the frame. And when you go to push it in, make sure you get that hose on the back side of it. Okay, that slides on. That's oriented correctly. All right, now that I got those started, I'm going to go ahead and use this, but we got to go very slowly. There you go. When you feel it start to get tight, that's enough. Nice and tight. Good and tight. And you have your air cleaner, which can go on in either direction, top or bottom, doesn't really matter. The same. Just presses back on. The latch goes back on. Just like that. We're going to release our fuel clamp. That's it. She's put back together. Now we're going to hook it up to a water hose and test it out. See how it did. Let's go. All right, so we got the pressure washer all squared away. Now we have it outside. Let's give it a start and make sure everything works. There's already fuel in it. You don't have to choke this model, and there's no priming of the bowl. All we have to do is hook up the water and pull start. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and if you'd like, check out the merch shop. There's some really nice stuff in there. See you next time.